And we're back. And we're back. So I'm going to get to the caller in 1 second. We see this routinely. A person is arrested for a gun. There's overcrowding at the DDC, Detroit Detention Center. They let them go. They do what's called a not in custody. They look up. They call me. It's 25 police around my house. What? But here's somebody who, from social media outlets, have portrayed as having bought the gun on Friday and it's in the house. And this young man, maybe it's the same gun, maybe not. But you could have detained them in order to investigate it, not to charge, to detain them, to investigate them. Just keep an eye on them. That's what the prosecutor said. I got some concerns about it. Luckily, very good, luckily, they were detained, but, then I got to get to this, please, and then I'm going to get to you, Eugene. Their lawyer said, they'll be back. Don't worry, they'll be back. But then as a result of the public outcry, you then put a task force together and they go pick them up in Detroit. You should have been picked them up. They shouldn't have had an opportunity to leave. Once they got Ethan and their intelligence revealed that them parents had something to do with it, they should have picked them up immediately. The lawyers, they'll be back. It's just because of, it's the coverage that they were, that they decided to leave. But they'll be back. Thank God the law enforcement was wise enough to find them. And then where they going to go? In Detroit. But Ben ain't going to Detroit, probably, but you going to run to Detroit. And that's where they were detained. It's the little nuances of treating people differently. Prosecutor in Oakland County is a former judge. Lawyer, prosecutor. You don't let a potential accomplice, potentially, or even a potential witness, because they could have been witnesses and they not be charged at all, leave without being an investigator and bring them in. Now, I'm glad that this kind of worked out, but what if it didn't? What if they had endangered someone else? Or what if they had fled? Then we'd be looking like Sully. We got to stay on top of this. I don't care if you're green. If there is an allegation that somebody is involved, get them witnesses in there yesterday. Pull them off the street ASAP. They do it in Detroit, and they need to be doing that in Oakland County too. Eugene, what's your comment, sir?
Yeah, good morning. Good afternoon, Rodney. Yeah, we've been having this conversation around the plant this afternoon. The guy that little boy that shot at the school, and that little boy that came across state line with his mama with that gun, and he shot him. The one thing I hate is he didn't hit that boy outside the head real hard with that skateboard. But anyway, they just started taking their toys away from, like their motorhomes and their boats and stuff, putting the father and the mother in jail for about 5-10 years, lose everything. If you find out, and what kind of parent goes out and buy the child a gun, like you take your child to the mall and get him some shoes.
Now, wait a minute, Eugene. It's my understanding that this was not a gun for him. It was the father's gun. Okay, now let's not get that. However, it was accessible to this child. You listen, Eugene, did your mom and daddy have guns in the house?
No.
Okay, well, my daddy did, and I didn't know where the hell it was. I did not know where it was. But it was a gun in that house, but I did not know where it was because it was properly put up. And with the internet today, guess what? You can figure out how to do this. And they give you gun instruction. You can't let this so cavalier. Oh, baby, the gun over there. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Yeah.
And let me say this to you. If the teacher peeped, and I'm using terminology, street terminology, so y'all say, what they mean, you being a judge, you act, peep means that saw that the boy was, acting strange and took a picture of what he wrote down. Your mama didn't catch that? If you in, let me tell you something, Eugene.
That was going up. You couldn't bring nothing in there.
Eugene, my father could look at me. He said, what's wrong with you, Vonda? I said, nothing. He said, I can look in your eyes and tell there's something going on with you. If you know your child, you know something is going on with them. You understand what I'm saying? You know what in the hell is going on. And if you don't, you ain't no damn good parent. Like I told my kids. Like I told my kids when they was growing up. Well, we got a right to privacy. Not in my castle. Not in my case. Ain't no door locks going on no damn doors up in my stuff. And you ain't paying no rent. And all you doing laying up. No, not in my crib. Now, if somebody else, you got the right to privacy. But you ain't got no right to privacy in my stuff. I went in their drawers. I went in their closets because it's my belief. If I'm paying for somebody to live there, I'm gonna make sure what's going on. And it's
prepared to start moving some of their toys, like they moved and they homes and jobs and stuff. If the kids go out and do something wrong like that, I wouldn't give them a slap on the wrist. And then that kid up in Wisconsin, he had a full off with this other kid.
Wait a minute. And moreover, or equally as important, is that according to news outlets, the prosecutor addressed the defense attorney's claims that their intent was to turn themselves in. They went to the ATM and took out $4,000. The minute that boy was identified, if he was identified as 701, they should have had them parents as 702. Because this could have gotten bigger. But thank goodness that you done took out 4,000. And the lawyers, they'll be back. Come on now. They gonna be back. Why you acting like that? And then it took out 4,000. They were, I don't know, but I can say, this is my opinion as a lay person, that don't sound like nobody. And first of all, let me say this to you, and I'm gonna be 100. I got a law firm. I can't take out but number 1,500. How the hell they took out 4,000 from an ATM in one day? Okay. I can't take but 1,500. But you got them 4,000. There are subtle differences, but they need to be eradicated. Okay. Listen, let me tell you something. It ought to be this. Ain't no, if it applies to me, it ought to apply to you. Ain't no special exceptions. Keep an eye on them. What the hell did that mean? But now that she thinking and they like, hey, you got to be on him. You understand what I'm saying? Now she, stepping up. And I applaud the prosecutor for charging this family. This is going to be national groundbreaking. But they was on their way up to some damn mountain somewhere, okay, with 4 racks, okay, and they weren't coming back. Now, to me, if that argument were to be believed, what kind of parents is you? What kind of parents is you that you would leave your child? I mean, hell, it is what it is. I bought the gun. I was wrong. But you know what I'm saying? I just seemed to me, you know what I mean? But thank you, Ron. Thank you, baby. Okay, we got another caller. Caller? Who is this? Yeah. Who is this on? Ron, what's going on? What's your opinion?
Hey, boy, I love this topic here. But one thing I think we don't really give kudos to is our own public safety department. Detroit Public School Safety Department for having a security measure in place to avoid these type of things. And that's one thing I have to say that we really haven't given enough kudos to, because one, every kid from first grade all the way to 12th grade in Detroit Public Schools have to go through a metal detector. Their bags have to go through. I know when I was teaching there, you have a lot of parents get upset because it's, well, hey,
Ron. I would go in there as a speaker. I'm speaking to the children at the gymnasium. Guess what? They said, ma'am, judge or not, you got to go through that metal detector because we don't know what you got in your bag. I'm sorry, you got to go through.
There you go.
And I was the keynote speaker.
Right. And if you go downtown.
Wait a minute, Ron, hold on. Listen, we got a hot topic, but look, Kevin and Dale got to pay the bills, so we got to go to a commercial identification. You remember that word. We'll be right back with Vonda's Court Unfiltered. Hang tight. Don't leave me, Ron. Don't leave me. I want to hear from you, babe.